how you feeling? I woke up today, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going to get it. And then I came to work, and there's Dibs.
Nah, come on.
And he's like, nah.
I'm just keeping it real.
You're not going to win this game.
I'm keeping it a buck. You know,
I am a control freak.
Yeah, you listen to all the breakdowns, and you start to see that, Kansas City, they didn't get here by accident, and it's more than just, well, they got Patrick Mahomes. They have a really good defense. Yep. They have a run game that has been very effective against a defense that has been suspect against the run of late. You've got a coach who's never gotten it done, who hasn't been able to close the show, and another coach who all he does is win, 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 no matter what of late.
No.
It's not, my confidence level is commensurate with where the spread is.
I just think that I'd argue that a lot of 49er fans, you're scared of the wrong thing. That's what I'd argue.
Well, I just laid out what I'm scared of, and it's not Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. I'm not talking just to you.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that people listen to this. So, the Chiefs, you're right. They're good. Hello. But this whole, how are we going to beat Mahomes? You mean the guy who scored 17 points a couple of weeks ago? You mean the guy that gave up back-to-back a pick six and a fumble rumble to the Raiders, who lost 6 games in the regular season? I'm not saying any of this to make him sound like anything other than the best player in the league. I'm fully aware of that. But this idea that it's like, well, that's it. We're playing the Chiefs. You can't beat Mahomes. Yeah, you can. It's lost in the Super Bowl before. Niners had a 10-point lead on him in a Super Bowl before. Eagles, many people think, had him by the you-know-whats in the Super Bowl.
They did, yeah.
And he's amazing, so he wiggles out of that sometimes. But that's my message, I would say, both to 49er fans and to any of the coaches. And they know this. They don't need any of us to tell them this. My dogs, you got everything you need. Got everything you need to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Right.
You've got an answer at every position.
So did Philadelphia last year.
Absolutely. And coulda, shoulda, woulda, don't drop the ball.
Right.
I'm not saying the Niners don't have to go play well. They're going to have to play incredibly clean. But they can do that. So, which Niner was it? I think it was Lenore, and he's a talker, but he basically said, and I agree with this, he said, this is about us. It's about us. So, in other words, you're either going to win the football game, or if you lose, it's because you didn't perform at your best. And I know that sounds snooty and arrogant.
Totally.
It's the way the Williams sisters handled press conferences for years. If you ever lost, they weren't just like, I'd like to start off by saying how amazing the opponent was today. But they're not wrong. Serena can do that. Why? Because she's the best. And the Niners have the best roster. They do. So, perform.
Yeah, but you don't have a major. You don't even have as many majors as Andy Roddick. Right now you're sitting on Bupkis in terms of
I disagree with that.
Major championships.
But there's 4 major championships a year in tennis. The Super Bowl is not like that. The Niners do have some major victories. I'd argue one happened 12 days ago. That's a major.
That's a nice win.
Going to the Super Bowl down 17 points at halftime, that's a major.
That's a nice win.
Yeah.
In football, you mentioned it. There's only one major.
I know.
And you haven't won it.
Don't say you can't win the big game. That was a big game.
No, but don't say it's all about us, especially when you're going up against a team that's won 2 of the last 4.
I think they're the best team, and I reject that.
Well, then show me.
But
those words are empty and hollow to me.
No, those were different teams. We just talked to a guy who now does basket weaving during the day, who was playing football 4 years ago. Like this whole idea of, the Chiefs. No, it's a different team.
Of course.
The last time the Niners had to do this, Tyreek Hill was on the squad, and on 3rd and 15, that works.
Well, you look at their team.
Not there anymore.
Their team from last year, the Chiefs, is largely on offense the same team that they have this year. And that team was good enough. You had Pacheco, you had Sky Moore, you had Travis Kelce.
You had Juju Smith-Schuster. You had a different receiving core, for sure. You had a different receiving core. Did you have a healthy Jet, McKinnon? You had a much healthier backfield. You were healthier in the trenches than you were. Every year's different.
Of course.
Minor tweaks here and there, but they matter. They matter, no?
It all matters.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is 60 minutes on Sunday.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. And you can say the Niners have the better roster, and we can go back to last year's NFC Championship game, and we can hear from the legion of people who say, well, the Niners, if Brock Purdy stays healthy, the Niners would have won. The Niners had the better team. That doesn't matter to me, and it will never matter because on that day, your quarterback didn't stay healthy, and your backup didn't stay healthy, and you lost the game. So whether or not you were better or not doesn't matter. And you can say, yeah, it's all about us on Sunday. If we do what we need to do, we're going to win the game. Well, if you go out and you lose the game, then those are empty words.
Yeah, that's fine.
Doesn't matter.
No,
doesn't matter if you have the better roster.
No, it doesn't matter. The final score matters.
That's all that matters.
But the game hasn't started yet.
Right.
And so my analysis is this. The 49ers at their best will not be beat.
And you've said this for months now.
Well,
you've said it.
And here they are.
Right. You've said, if healthy,
Yep.
the 49ers have the best roster in football, and if healthy, they should be able to beat anybody in a one-game scenario. And here we are. They're healthy.
And favored.
And they've got a one-game, favored by 2, 1.5, depending on where you shop.
But it's going to end at 2.5, to be honest with you.
You think the sharp money comes in late in the Niners?
I have a little bit of a insight on
You got more John Avello?
No, this is a different one.
I know. He's been dropping.
You know how I go on? I told you I do the FanDuel stuff. They call me a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I hope I'm not outing anybody, but I want to ask them this. So when they call me before games, they do it on a Friday. I did it this morning. But if they run it on game day.
Shout out Chris Brown.
So they'll tell me, we're going to talk about this as if the game is later today. This will run Sunday morning. And then they will firmly say on the interview what the spread is. But that's 2 days from now.
Oh, snap.
So I'm like,
you better spread. Yeah, I'm trying.
Hey, FanDuel, how do you know what the spread is going to be on Sunday?
So when they did the interview this morning, they said 2.5.
2.5.
Oh, interesting.
They may not invite me back. I don't know. I'm sharing this publicly, but if we get to Sunday and it goes to 2.5, tell them Willard sent you.
Well, they can.
How do they know?
Well, they can project out, I'm sure,
Where
based on like where the money is now and what a certain amount of money that comes in will do to the spread. And it might already be teetering on that 2.5 spot. It might be so close to where there's no way it's going to 1.5.
I can also share this with you. Just go to FanDuel Sportsbook. It's already at 2.5.
It's already at 2.5. But how do they know?
Juice on the Chiefs.
But how do they know it's going to stay there? How do they know it's going to stay there?
It's a great question.
I thought Juice was on the Niners. You're confusing
Light
me.
Juice, yeah.
Yeah.
Minus 105.
Not Kyle Juice.
Minus
They
115.
they want even more money on the Chiefs. I'm telling you, that's a significant thing that I read in Ethan Strauss's column yesterday about the NFL futures. 16.7% of the preseason NFL futures Super Bowl bets were on the Niners. That is a stunning statistic. How many NFL teams are there?
32, Mark.
32. And the Niners made up almost 17% of all bets. That's a crazy number. Project out how many millions of dollars that is for Las Vegas, Nevada, if the 49ers win the game.
Well, I'm looking at the odds, the preseason odds, according to ProFootballReference.com, and they're listing the Niners as plus 1,000 preseason. They were the fourth choice.
Okay.
Kansas City was 6-1, Philadelphia 7.5-1, Buffalo 9-1, Niners and Bengals were both 10-1. So, assuming that this is about the ballpark where they were preseason, 10-1, and the most money preseason was bet on the Niners, that's a gigantic liability.
Gigantic number.
If you're talking about 16%, and let's just say that the futures market is $100 million, just for a round number. So now you're looking at $16 million, 16% roughly, right, of $100 million would be $16 million.
Mm-hmm.
$16 million times 10-1 is $160 million that you'd be paying out if the Niners won.
Yep.
That's a big liability.
And by the way, I bet it's a lot more than that.
Right, but I was just ballparking the numbers for the sake of
math. Yeah, for math.
Just to show you that if the Niners were to win this game and they have 100 coming in, they'd have 160 going back out. That is a 60% loss on just the futures market.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Didn't your friend John Novello come on Monday and said that they need the Chiefs to win? Or that they need the Niners to win. They need
the Niners
right?
to win.
Was he talking about just the bets from this week, the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think he was talking about it just for what was coming in on this particular game. But I don't know what his discussion was, or he's with DraftKings. Like, I don't know what their percentage is on the 49ers for futures bets. I don't know. You're not wrong. He said that. He absolutely said right now that they were rooting for the 49ers.
And also, in the futures market, not everybody would have bought it at 10-1.
Correct.
A lot of people, the Niners start out 5-0.
Yep.
Now I want in. Well, now it might be 4.5-1.
You know what that is?
It's a
fluctuation sensation.
Thank you.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You know what that is.
Redwood Dave is in Redwood City. That's why he's called Redwood Dave. Hello, Dave.
That's right, gentlemen. Can't wait for the game. Bought foam fingers for everybody in the office.
Oh, my God.
Because the other people are transplants from Wisconsin, and they're all big Green Bay fans.
Well, then, yeah. Then you're going to need to flip them off. Right? Absolutely.
I wore a football jersey every day to work for the past 2 weeks. The key to the game is we got to shut down Pacheco. We got to put Ward on Rice all the time. We got to double coverage Travis Kelce on third down or roll coverage to him, depending on what happens. You got to mix it up. And the defense has just got to get to Mahomes and crush him.
Easier said than done, Dave.
Yeah,
but you're not wrong. I actually don't want the defense to get to him and crush him. I want the defense to contain him. Because if you just get to him with your, as people, all the little cliches, we got to pin your ears back and your hair on fire, he gonna run away from you.
You don't sack Patrick Mahomes. He got sacked twice against Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Those are the first 2 sacks he sustained in his previous 5 playoff games, including last year's Super Bowl. I'm looking at it right here, 21 of 27, a very meager 182, 3 touchdowns, no sacks, 6 carries, 44 yards, 1 victory. And I mean,
he's fantastic.
It's kind of
he's fantastic.
It's a little bit of a rush and hold mentality. And this is one of the things that makes me worried about the Niners, where, you got Bosa coming so fast around the outside. You just push him upfield. Mahomes slides up underneath. And now we're off to the races.
Well, but that's
when you've got linebackers devoted to Kelce, you've got no one at home to stop the run.
But it's this. The line is a concert, and it's all got to work together. So if Bosa's going to go around and Mahomes is going to step up in the pocket, this has got to be a much better performance for Hargrave and Armstead. I don't know how healthy Armstead is, but those guys have got to be good. They've got to be good. If he's going to step up, there's got to be other people there. And I would argue Steve Wilks, who wants to do so many things in a base form on his defensive line, is probably going to have to come with a change-up to the game. He's probably going to, earlier than later. Don't wait to be punched in the mouth and then at halftime, okay, let's try this. It's what he did 2 weeks ago. It's what he did against the Rams all the way back in week 2. It's like, you know what? Maybe, see if you can force a turnover in the first quarter. What about that? See if you can go up by 2 scores.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Here's an idea. Why don't you play some man?
Yeah.
How about you man up? And I like Redwood Dave's call in terms of, you man up with Rashee Rice. You put Mooney Ward over there on him, and you're going to have to stick a linebacker on Travis Kelce, probably Fred Warner. Maybe you give a little help. And it's going to depend on down and distance. Larry had this answer yesterday when we had Larry Krueger live from Lake Las Vegas. I asked him that very thing about them manning up more, and he said it depends on down and distance.
Yep.
If you're in a 3rd and 3 situation, you're probably going to play a little bit more conservatively because you got to respect the run with Pacheco. But if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, go ahead and send a 5th and man it up behind and really heat up Mahomes and make him put the ball into a difficult spot because Mahomes will take a chance and he'll give you one.
Mooney Ward is a key player, man. Mooney Ward is a key player because if they do just shadow Rashee Rice with him and he can in some way, shape, or form limit any damage from that player, obviously there's Kelsey. He's going to get his, and the linebackers will handle that for the most part. But, boy, it's anybody else. If you can limit it to just that, like Kelsey gets his, but nobody else does anything, you're going to win the game. I think you're going to win the game.
Unless they hit you with a big one, a big play over the top.
They're so much less likely to do than they have been in the past.
Seemingly.
Yeah.
They still have MVS, and you got Sky Moore who's going to come back, and you do have other weapons, but I'm of the same mind. Go ahead and bracket Kelsey, man him up, and give some help over the top or over the middle, and let somebody else go ahead and beat you.